Hello and welcome to Stretchpedia. Flexibility is an important component of physical fitness, whether you're an athlete, suffering from an injury, or just wanting to stay healthy. So put on some comfortable clothes, grab a mat or carpet will do, and let's go through 10 different ways to stretch the hamstrings. But first, let's talk a little anatomy. The hamstrings are a muscle group located on the back side of the thigh. It is made up of 3 separate muscles: the biceps femoris, the semitendinosus, and the semimembranosus. When these muscles contract, they cause flexion or bending at the knee and extension at the hips. In other words, they are the muscles we use to stand back up after bending over to tie our shoes. Our hamstrings are used most commonly when we are running or walking. Alongside with the quadriceps, they stabilize the knee joint during deceleration. There are many reasons why we might get tight hamstrings. It can be from doing too much too soon on activities that uses the hamstrings without adequate resting and stretching, for example, hiking up a mountain. Sitting with the knees bent for a long period of time, as with office workers or drivers. An altered gait or walking pattern, such as limping. Improper footwear. Improper posture, especially having an anterior pelvic tilt like our friend Donald Duck here. And finally, an injury, whether in the hamstrings themselves, the low back, or any of the muscles surrounding the area. Stretching out the hamstrings is important as it will prevent muscle imbalances, pain, and increase flexibility. So here are 10 ways to stretch the hamstrings. Sitting up tall, extend one leg and reach down towards your toes. It's okay if you can't reach quite that far. Just reach as far down your leg as you can. Hold the stretch when you feel a mild tension down the back of your thigh. If you're not quite feeling the stretch, feel free to point your toes up towards yourself. Hold the stretch for 30 seconds and repeat the same thing on the other leg. This time, we'll be stretching both hamstrings at the same time. Extend both legs out and reach for the toes. As you lean down, keep your back straight and think about bringing your chest down towards your thighs instead of rounding your neck and bringing your head down. For all of these stretches, avoid bouncing to try to get farther. This will actually trigger something called a myostatic stretch reflex that will shorten your muscles. If you are ever feeling any pain during a stretch, ease off on the stretch and don't go quite as far. If you're not comfortable getting down to the floor or bending your back so much, you can place one leg and the buttock of that side on a bed or a bench so that your leg is supported. You may feel a stretch already from here, or you can also reach down the leg as before to stretch the back of the thigh. This stretch does require some more flexibility on the hip joint to bring the leg up, but requires less strain on the back. Hamstring stretches can also be done while lying on your back. If you're unable to sit or stand to stretch without aggravating an injury, you may want to choose to stretch. Holding behind the knee, straighten the leg. Now slowly bring the thigh towards your chest until you feel the mild tension. The opposite leg can be kept bent or extended, whichever feels more comfortable. While we're lying on our back, we often have a tendency to hold your breath, so remember to keep breathing. If your hamstrings are very tight, you can wrap a belt or a towel around your foot and pull to hold the leg up into the extended position. Like all of our other stretches, hold the stretch for 30 seconds on each leg. As you are holding on to a stretch, you may notice that you don't feel the tension on your leg anymore. At this point, feel free to stretch a little farther without any pain. Alternatively, you can use a door frame or the edge of a wall to assist the stretch. Again, this one might be a bit challenging if the flexibility of the hips are limited and is a little bit awkward to get into. However, you can choose to lie farther away and plant your heel lower down on the door frame. This one is considered a passive static stretch, which means your other muscles are not actively doing any work during the stretch. Now moving on to hamstring stretches that can be done while standing. Place one heel out in front of you and reach down the extended leg. To protect the back, hinge at your hips and keep your back as flat as you can. You can also flex your feet up towards you to include the calf muscles in the stretch. If your range is a bit more limited, you can also prop your leg up onto a stool or even higher onto a table to do the same stretch without having to bend the back as far. Next, to stretch both legs while standing, Keep your knees straight, hinge at the hips, and reach down towards your toes. Again, be sure not to bounce on the stretch. You can let gravity do the work and hold the stretch when you feel a mild tension at the back of the thighs. This may not be a stretch for you if you have problems with dizziness or blood pressure, as you have to bring your head below heart level. For this next stretch, cross one leg in front of the other. Keep a soft bend on the leg in front, but straighten out the back leg. Again, hinge at the hips and reach down towards the toes. You should be feeling the stretch on the hamstring of the back leg. Hold the stretch for 30 seconds, and then repeat on the other side. This stretch requires the stabilizing muscles to work to keep balance, especially if you are on a mat, like I am. Our final stretch is the yoga pose, which you've probably heard of, the downward dog. To get into this pose, start on all fours and push up onto your hands and feet. You can also start by standing up and walking your hands away from you. Straighten both of your legs and try to press your heels down onto the floor. In this pose, your arms and your legs should make a triangle with the ground. As with all our other stretches, keep your neck neutral during the stretch. Now that you know 10 different ways to stretch the hamstrings, mix it up and pick whichever ones work for you. That's the best way to stick to it. Happy stretching!